very good afternoon to our esteemed guests, which is also the directors for Scanwolf Corporation Berhad. First thing first, my name is Ian Kang. I believe every one of you is familiar with who I am. So I'm actually the GM for Scanwolf Marketing, and today's chit-chat session, we just want to do a formal introduction, especially to the public, who we are, who are the key directors of the company. So just a formal introduction. In front of me is Dato Tan, which is the founder of Scanwolf Plastic Industries, which subsequently becomes Scanwolf Corporation Berhad. And then followed by Mr. Ng, who is the executive director of the company and also the CFO for the group. And lastly, last but not least, Dato CK, which is also the executive director of Scanwolf Corporation Berhad that joined us recently. I understand that Scanwolf is actually being listed in Bursa since 2007. So it actually started off from plastic manufacturing, specifically catered for furniture industries. Then from there, they eventually diversified and expand into the resilient flooring industries, followed by the property development and industries. I believe everybody found the name to be a bit special and unique. Nobody knows how you get the name, and I believe it's better and it's proper for one of the founders, Dato Tan, to explain to us how you actually came across this name Scanwolf, and how do you decide you want this name to be the name that represents the company since it's being established.
Actually, I found these names from a magazine. I saw these names from the one magazine from this Scandinavia country. Then immediately, I saw this name. I sent for a register.
So I believe this is partly, to differentiate ourselves amongst the locals company. I believe because back in the days, a lot of people is using their surname as the company name, Lee and Lee, Tan and Tan. So we want to be the outstanding, like something that gives people, I would say, a permanent impression when they look at the company. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think it's true.
But back to that time, did a lot of businesses are going to Scandinavian country?
I think it's true. That's why the Scanwolf name sound like a little bit Western. So it's quite catchy, instead of putting Lee and Tan and Co. this kind of thing.
Because we are, our core business is doing the furniture accessory as easing and some these partition profile as well. Because everybody know the IKEA. IKEA is still from Scandinavian country.
Yeah, from Sweden.
So in a way, it's like how Scanwolf get their name is partly inspired by IKEA because they're the market leader in the furniture sector. So from there, we want people to know, okay, we actually represent, we also in a way translate the Scandinavian standard in terms of quality. So this is how you get the name for Scanwolf, I believe.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, just a quick one. Because I understand we are in the furniture sector, but how do we actually diversify ourselves from furniture sector into flooring industry and also the property industry? So maybe we start with flooring industry. So what is the idea and why the Scanwolf decided to enter into the market?
I think it started out with our joint venture with a Japanese company where we brought over the Korean technology into Malaysia. So we are the first one and the largest flooring manufacturer in Malaysia. So we believe that this product can be a new engine for us, for our group to grow, because we know that now flooring become part of the lifestyle, for the consumer, for the residential, even for the market. So we think that this product can add on into our existing aging business and also our property development.
Okay, so just the understanding. I understand people are getting, nowadays we are looking into, I think, every customer is getting more specifics in terms of their requirements and what they want in terms of their lifestyle to pretty much fulfill their so-called lifestyle. So my understanding is because flooring, it's not really a necessity, because in Malaysia, I think everyone is going with the standard tiles. And why do you think this product itself actually is a market changer? Because my understanding is tiles has been in the market for 20, 30 years. I think in Malaysia, pretty much, if you go to the traditional family, they'll tell you immediately, I'll just go with standard tiles. So how do you think we can actually, from what we are doing now, we are manufacturing vinyl floorings, we are doing SPC flooring, which is a type of resilient flooring. How do you think that this will be a market changer and how this will actually help the company to grow further?
Maybe CK can explain it.
Yep. When I first joined Scanwolf, right, before I joined Scanwolf, I didn't even pay attention to the flooring at all because when you go to a lot of places, right? We understand. First thing I will look maybe is the furniture, is the ID design in that particular area. But then when I joined Scanwolf, I just realized that how flooring could contribute as a whole to the beautifulness of this whole design. So that's where I come in. I start understanding on the flooring sector. But when I study in detail on the flooring side, I discovered that Scanwolf flooring is produced with recyclable plastic that can complement to what Scanwolf have been doing for over the past 20 to 30 years. So get back to what Yen Kang's what Yen Kang mentioned just now. I think we can't compare the tiles to the flooring. As what I discovered, we can't compare it that way. Vinyl tile is totally different in my perspective.
So I actually agree with what you say because nowadays people is looking for something that's different.
Yep.
So tiles, even though they are in the market for more, I think 100 over years, it's still being too monotonous. The design is there. It's just like, if you go for the low end, it's just white color, and if you go to a slightly higher end, usually it's marble color.
Yep.
But for us, I think partly it's because nowadays, I think in terms of technology advancement, decorative film nowadays is pretty much imitates real wood. It gives you the natural and aesthetic beauty of the wood without actually cutting off a single tree.
Yep.
So from there, pretty much, like back in the days, we know that, like a wealthier family, they'll go with solid wood, timber wood. But then moving, like as I'll say, as we try to improve in a way, like we try to, I'll say, practice the so-called minimalizing our environmental footprint, this product actually comes into the picture because it does not harm the environment, and all of this is made artificially using, like for instance, for the 3M, the so-called dry bag LVT is using recyclable material, like what you mentioned earlier. Yeah. And then for stone plastic, I believe pretty much stone and plastic composite.
Yeah.
So by doing so, I think we are in a way minimizing our environmental footprint, and we are creating environmental sustainable product, which actually complies with our group's ESG practice, I believe. So in terms of ESG practices, do you think GY or CK or even Dato Tan, you can provide some insight on how and what we are doing in terms of the environmental, social, governance aspect, so we can actually keep the public know what we are doing and how we are actually helping to preserve the so-called environment for the next generation?
I think just now, as mentioned by Dato CK, actually our product is 95% recycled material, and only 5% is actually from plastic. So actually we are 100% free of real timber wood. That's why we actually saving the forest, saving the jungle. So actually this is one of the products that actually we're going to expand it and actually toward our ESG model. That's why our company actually, we know that now a trend is that ESG. Investors are actually looking at ESG. So our company, our mission also looking at ESG is one of our criteria before we are launching our product. And this is the product that actually we consider is a Green Building Index compliance, and actually is also part of our ESG mission. So that's why I believe the SPC and also the vinyl flooring will be the next big thing for us.
Okay. So let's just discuss on the future of the company. Since now, I believe the previous few discussions that we had, we are looking on ESG product. We are looking on something that pretty much, I would say, fulfill the so-called lifestyle, like the ongoing improving lifestyle that's pretty much sought by most of the general public. So from this perspective, what is the future of Scanwolf? Where do you think we will be in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years time? How can we do even better? Do you mind sharing some of the plans that we have for the group, and to just to get an idea what we are expecting from the company down the road? And hopefully this will get the investors' interest and it reflects to our our counter in Bursa Malaysia.
Maybe we let our founder to elaborate more on this thing.
Okay, I think actually all the while Scanwolf are doing the semi-product. I still think it's a semi-product. People tend not to understand what Scanwolf is doing. But I think during this I mean, during this era, when ESG come, I mean, actually, when ESG come in place in Malaysia and in the worldwide, I think Scanwolf as a responsibility, I mean, as a responsible corporation, we need to take the initiative to contribute something back to the society. So that's why the flooring is just the first step lah, to going into to join into ESG. So if you're telling, if you are asking me what could be the future, I hope that Scanwolf will be the largest manufacturing of the flooring. Largest, I mean, Scanwolf will be the largest manufacturing in the ASEAN region. Then we can benefit.
So this is actually quite ambitious. So because like I said, so since this is our plan, like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, we want to be the biggest player in the market, especially within the ASEAN region.
Yep.
So does this mean there's any setback with our existing operation? Because like what Dato' Tan shared earlier, our core business is actually for PVC profiles catered to furniture industries. But because recently, I'll say there's a lot of diversification going on, and we actually diversified into the flooring sector. So I'll say for the short-term goal will be to expand the flooring business. But when you know, like this is quite normal when we focus on a certain division, sometimes it might affect the performance of other division. So is there any setback if we were to go, you know, fully on flooring? Will there be any hindrance, or will it affect other divisions' performance and stuff? And how and what are we doing to ensure that all of our subsidiary or all of our division is actually growing in a very healthy situation, I would say?
Actually, no, there is no setback on our plastic extrusion business because we have been in plastic extrusion for more than 20 years. It's actually our bread and butter. Actually, it's our main cash flow and revenue generator. So actually, during COVID time, we actually expand our plastic extrusion division. We are actually getting a new production line. We are also going to increase the capacity by 30%. So we hopefully after the MCO, we are going to able to export more to other countries. Those countries like that we have never been there before, but we think that this is an opportunity to grow our plastic extrusion. So we are not only forget it, but we are going to expand it because we want to maintain our be a leader in the plastic extrusion, especially for the furniture industry. But we're going to grow it bigger, and we're going to penetrate more market. That's why we will not stop here, but we will going to continue to grow.
So I believe this will be a good news to all investors, since there's no hindrance, and we already have a plan set in to actually ensure each division is performing based on the so-called KPI, which I believe will be a headache for me and also some of my colleagues. So
instead of the setback, right, I think
Yeah.
it could serve as the synergy effect between the plastic division and the newly incorporated flooring division.
Okay.
I mean, this is definitely a synergy because, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, vinyl tiles is made of 95% of the plastic composition. So when the original plastic division, there's the wastage of that particular can be recycled back.
So you're saying,
yeah.
so you're saying whatever, you know, like I understand, like in the PVC furniture accessory part, day to day when we do extrusion, there's definitely some wastage. So we can actually utilize the wastage from, let's say, from Scanwolf Plastic Industries into Scanwolf Flooring Industries. So in a way, we try to achieve zero wastage in the company . Is this what we looking at ? And I believe this is also fulfill part of the ESG concern also . We can actually tell the public we are a very green company. Whenever we produce something, we ensure that all the wastage or those harmful substances is not being leaked into the local or in Malaysia environment aspect . Everything is being filtered. We have I believe we have expertise, like those expert teams to actually help recycle all the material, powderize it, and make sure it's being reused in our day-to-day operation .
That's why we have two kind of the flooring. One what we call is the LVT, that was 100% using recycled material. And SPC, actually it's virgin, we are using virgin material. The waste, when we recycle back, we also can consider it's 100% can use back all the waste.
So since we already touched base on Scanwolf plastic and also Scanwolf flooring, mind sharing some of the direction or what is Scanwolf property and Scanwolf development doing? Maybe Jiwa, you can explain more on this because I believe you are the one in charge on this.
Because
division.
we are a Perak born company, so our property development actually focus in Perak. I think our property development focus in Kampa, so it's a cell mixed development with residential and commercial. It's just beside the Utah and the Tar College. Currently, we have around we target revenue 120 over million. We hopefully be able to sell it, but we think we take time. But we are very confident that eventually we are able to get this project kicked up, and we will continue with our existing land bank. So this is part of the property development that we are looking at. We are not going to grow big, but we are going to sustain it, and maybe in future we will venture into a Klang Valley or Selangor area if we have that opportunity.
Okay, so meaning to say, for now, I think the key direction will ultimately be Scanwolf flooring, followed by Scanwolf plastic, and also Scanwolf development. But I think the major focus, like I said, short-term goal definitely on flooring, followed by plastic, and followed by the property and development section.
So you will say that we go all three together,
all three together.
I think when the company entering into the flooring, right? I think when you enter the flooring, then you can able to access or other building material supplier in this sector. So I think that would definitely help our development sector moving forward.
Okay.
Yep.
So talking about the synergy that Dato' CK mentioned earlier, I actually quite agree with what Dato' CK is saying, because I think back in the days, especially we've been doing furniture for over, I think 20 over years in terms of furniture profiles. Our understanding is back in the days, furniture used to being manufactured for the sake of selling in so-called retail store or department stores. But nowadays, the trend is actually changing. It's more towards project basis furniture. So they are focusing more on interior finishing. And that's why I think part of the reason we venture into flooring sector is because when we are tendering for projects, I believe our clients can actually link it back to the same sales network to introduce the flooring in. And this actually helps us if we have key strategic partners that we are working with, which I believe, I think back in maybe last month, we actually do sign some agreement with, partner with Signature, partner with Sorrento, which is very good for the company. Yeah. So, like what Jay said earlier, definitely we hope everything runs based on our expectation. And I believe since the borders are open, the market is rebounding, let's see what we can achieve from here onwards. I think this is what we want.
Yep.
So since I believe I covered pretty much most of the aspect of this chit-chat session, maybe I think what we can do is we can actually go downstairs since we're at our showroom. This is our first showroom, and I believe maybe Dato' CK has not run, I would say, take an official tour on the showroom. Let's just move downstairs to have a look while I can explain more on what we can do with our company, our products and stuff. So I think that's a wrap for today's discussion.
That's good.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Showroom. Yep.